Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for December Daily. Today I'm working on stories 26 and 27, and I will tell you about the tragedy of not filming story 25. So stick around. Oh hey, it's Jen with ChappyPlans, and I am so sad. I'm so sad, guys. I want to cry. I thought I recorded story 25 took me like 2 hours to put together from start to finish, and I apparently never hit the record button, and instead I just took a picture with my phone. So I am like devastated to not be able to share that with you. So you'll just have to wait till the end when I'm doing my flip through to see it finished, because I didn't even film it. I'm literally like, I almost cried because that was not 2 hours. It was like an hour and a half, but still that's an hour and a half of content that I thought I was filming and I wasn't. So here's story 26 instead. This story is about Chapman Christmas. So on the 25th, we drove out to Michigan, and the story for that number isn't corresponding with like the chronological day. So story 25 is actually about Nora and Fiona and like just hanging out once we got to their house on Christmas night. This story is our actual first event of like Christmas things happening with Matt's family and my in-laws and my nieces and nephews. So I have this large photo of the cousins up at the top of the stairs at Matt's aunt's house. And I totally scrap lifted this idea for this layout from my lovely friend Susanna Lee 72 is her Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel. She's so talented with scrapbooking and paper crafting. So definitely give her a follow. That is why I made the layout the way I did. All right, so I'm going to stop whining and I'm going to start speeding up the camera so that you guys can watch me put these stories together. At least the ones I remember to press record for. So I scrap lifted the idea for this story partially from my friend Susanna, and her Instagram handle is Suzlee, Suzlee 72. She's on Instagram and YouTube. She's amazing and she's the best. So not this part of it, what I'm working on now, the left side, because it's like a 2-page story, but the right side. So I'll talk about that when we get there. But for now, I have this large size photo of the cousins at Chapman Christmas, which is an annual tradition. However, this year was slightly different without my mother-in-law being present, which was a bummer. But she chose not to come to protect her peace, and I totally respect that. Love her to death, and just want to mention that she wasn't there. That's why there's no pictures of her in this story. But spelling out the title with these puffy stickers I got from Ellie's Studio when they had a big sale, and I've used them quite a lot. In fact, I've used a lot of what I purchased on sale throughout this second album, which is really fun because I love to be able to use my stash. Then I had already, I guess, in the video footage that wasn't saved. Oh, there's my giant head in the frame. You're welcome. I had glued down the 2 and the 6 for the story number. They're old Studio Calico numbers and they're vellum, so I used my Uhu glue stick to secure those to the photo, and then on top of it I layered a chipboard that says "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." I use these in the next couple stories quite a bit. They're left over from an old December daily collection. And then I have these red velvet bows stickers that came from, I think, Hobby Lobby this past year. I don't typically shop there, but when I get gift cards, that's when I will shop there because people be knowing that I'm a crafter. So sometimes that's what we have to do. We only have, I think, Michael's now and Hobby Lobby around me, because RIP Joanne. That was like my go-to favorite craft store. Also, I want to mention that because I was so flabbergasted, distraught, verklempt that I did not record story 25, I completely punched holes in the wrong sides of some of these stories, and so I'm gonna have to do some damage and cover up where I messed up. So I want to mention that now because that's definitely, you're gonna see that. Here is the part I scrap lifted from Susanna. She used the frame as like a book cover almost, where you open it up and underneath you reveal whatever your journaling or photos are going to be behind it. And I had this piece of vellum that is gorgeous. It's from a paper person shop very long time ago. And I love the blush pink and the rose gold. So I cut that down and taped it literally just with Scotch tape to the backside of this frame. And I think the frames came in the main kit. Then I layered that really fun label shape in the muted, like sagey green color. I found these vellum hearts that are older from Allie Edwards, and then another one of those chipboard pieces. And then I'm going to layer one of the velvet bows on top. Off camera, I'm going to add a little tab to the top right of edge of this frame that says bright, just so that whoever's looking at it knows to lift it up. And underneath it, I am going to secure, just cover up, not really secure, but cover up some of the Scotch tape with some washi just to make it look pretty on the back side. So I've already pre-sized my photos and selected tags, because the idea from Susanna was she had this clear pocket holding a bunch of tags. And so that's also the scrap lifted idea. I have this really old page protector from the Happy Planner, believe it or not, their memory keeping line, and it was the perfect size for this pocket. So I just used some red line tape. I will use some to adhere it to the bow paper. Right now, I'm using my new fancy cutting tool from Creative Memories. Thank you to Creative Memories for sending this to me. It's my new favorite tool, and you can switch out the blades for different settings. This time I use the score blade, and I'm just doing that to make it easier to flip open the frame. I scored it at 3/4 of an inch. And then working on the back, I now need to, I'm adding some foam tape to secure the left margin to the pattern paper, because I need it to sit up higher, since there are like 3 or 4 tags and some of them are double-sided. So they do add a little bit of thickness behind the frame. That's why I decided to use foam tape instead of just some score tape to adhere the frame, the top frame. So now I'm going to use my red line tape to secure this little plastic pocket, and inside it is going to sit the tags. So I have 4 different tags. What I did was I knew I had another like bow patterned paper, and I searched through my stash, and it is from the add-on pack this year. I think they're the 3x8 configuration pack, and it has lines on it, so that's where I'm going to do my journaling. And it's got like, the lines are like a blush pink color. So then I went in my stash and I pulled these pink and green tags. They are from Heidi Swap Christmas collection a few years ago, probably like 5 or 6 years ago now. And then I had this other 3x4 tag that just has a red bow on the top, and I thought, oh, that's perfect to include the bow. So those are the tags I'm going to use. Well, I'm going to turn the bow 3x8 card and the 3x4 card into a tag. You can see I'm doing that right now by just cutting off at a diagonal an edge, and then using that cut off piece, flipping it over to create the same angle on the other side so that the diagonal cuts are even. Then I'm going to use my little, what is this? It's like a eyelet tool to punch holes in the top. And I'm going to add some twine to the tops of these tags. And I thought about adding other ribbon, but I didn't want it to be super, super bulky because it's already pretty thick underneath the frame. So I'm going to adhere the photos to each of these tags. On the back side of the largest tag is a picture of all of us sitting at a long table in Aunt Claire's house. And by all of us, I mean Matt's siblings. So Matt is in the photo, my sister-in-law Kit, her husband Tully, Matt's twin brother Jesse, and his wife Sam, and then Matt's brother Steven. The only 2 people who aren't in the photo are Chrissy and Josh, because Chrissy was at the table, but Josh wasn't even in the room, I don't think. So I didn't get a shot of Josh, but there is a selfie of Chrissy and I, which you can see her beautiful face peeking out to the left of me. That's on the pink tag, the Heidi Swap tag. And and her son, my oldest nephew Justin, is photobombing us in the background, which is epic. And then there's a selfie of Justin and I on the backside of the photo of Chrissy and I's selfie. Then there's a picture of my husband and I that, I don't know who took this picture. Nora, I think, took the picture of us. Oh wait, no. Matt's younger brother totally took the picture. I know because he pretended he was taking her picture and he took a goofy selfie of himself instead. And then the smallest tag is Nora and her cousin Justin, and on the back it's the same, but just the two of them. Nora's making like a weird face. So I'm just going to put all those photos down with some double-sided tape from Tombow, and then to embellish them a little bit, I didn't want to leave them plain, so I just had some fun adding washi, the same washi that I will use on the back side of the frame. It's from a few years ago, Tim Holtz, his Christmas collection with Ranger. It's just like red and green Argyle print, and then one of the washi tapes is like a holly berry. And then I used a bunch of word phrase stickers and even some old like word phrase vellum strips and some of the new word die cuts from this year's collection. And I added those where I thought there was room and where it kind of made sense. Like if there was white space, I like to add in a little bit of embellishing. I added all of the twine to the tops of the tags, so different baker's twine colors, pink, red, and green. I am going to put down the pink and red washi tape, but I decide that it kind of like it's too bold in comparison to the other colors that are going to be used on the other photos, so I will switch that out for the red and green Argyle washi instead. Now you're just going to see me play with a bunch of the die cuts and the word strips and things like that to fill in the white space. So they say things like celebrate, you are my favorite, good cheer, cherish, so bright, merry, gathering, visiting, things like that. So I'm just going to put some music on while you watch me finish decorating. Alrighty, so I'm back. You saw me add all the things, and now I'm just making sure they all fit nice and neat in this little pocket. And then I'm going to add the little gingham washi trim around the backside of the frame here with the pink vellum, just to finish it off. It looks sloppy without it, I feel like, so this keeps it, I don't know, it feels like adding just like a finishing touch, if you will. So that's going to wrap up story 26. In just a second here, I'll show you how it all looks in real time. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I like the addition of my handwritten journaling. That's a little bit different. I have been switching between that and doing typed journaling, so I enjoy including my own handwriting. And then oh, there I go. I did add the little tab in the video. All right, so here, take a look at what it looks like all finished. I think it came out really nice. Thank you to Susanna, Suze Lee, 72, for the idea for documenting this story. It's a great way to include a lot of photos in one story and have them all nice and put in the little pocket. I can see that I haven't added the little bow yet or the fussy cut heart, so I will show you what that looks like when I do the final flip through. Now we can move on to story number 27. And I'll be honest, I had so much fun putting this together. I saw somebody who I can't recall do some sort of grid this is just such a great way for various size photos. These stories are from multiple days, and there's tons of colors in the photos, and I didn't want them to be black and white, so I thought this was a really good way to feature a lot of photos in a fun, like, use my stash type of layout. Again, it's another 2-page spread. I'm using the back side of story 26 and then just a plain piece of white cardstock for the right side. And I spent a long time going through all of my stash and a ton of items that are not from Ellie Edwards to pull together red, green, and pink, again, going with that theme. And I think using the same color scheme helps to bring the pages together. And I just played around for a while before I started filming with where I wanted to put the tags on the paper, and tried to keep the red, green, and pink all sort of evenly scattered across the 2 pages, so that, you know, there's a green tag, then there's something with pink, then there's something with red, and their colors aren't all right on top of each other. So hopefully that makes sense. I use a lot of these like straight edged label tags of the various sizes are from a former December daily collection. I can say where the items are from as I'm working on them. How about we do it that way? Because otherwise I don't know that I'll be able to explain it in a way that makes sense. So you can see for those the new labels this year, the new shape, I used the the dies to cut out the photo so that it would be the same shape inside the label. This green chipboard tag is from a previous Advent December daily sticker kit. And let's see. Oh, I'm taking out the tags inside story 26 so that it's not so bulky while I'm laying these down. So the pink tag there is from Heidi Swap, as well as that red tag. Some of those I used in the last story, so I have quite a few left. The red hearts, or the pink hearts rather, inside the vellum pockets are from Heidi Swap, as well as that little tiny lined tag stack. Those are all from previous Stop the Blur collections. The chipboard house tag is from My Mind's Eye, which is not even a company that sells scrapbook items anymore, but was part of what Jenny Garcia sent me years ago when we did a December daily swap of supplies. So I've been using a lot of that this year as well. And on the right, I also am using a combination of the same. So some of the Heidi Swap tags and some from December daily. Now I wanted to stamp something between the photo of Nora in the pool and the edge of the tag. So I'm going to use this stamp set for the first time that I've had for a while from Studio Calico. I got on sale a few years back, and I'm just stamping Let Your Heart Be Light with the Lumberjack plaid. Is it Lumberjack plaid or Lumberjack? Yeah, I think that's the color. From Distress Oxide, the ink there with Ranger. And then I am going to secure all of these in place. That was the biggest part. That's what took the longest. And I just used the print to size photo app to size all of my photos for each of the tags. What else? I should talk about what the photos are. So after Chapman Christmas that night, we checked into a hotel because the next day for Cousin Christmas, it was also going to be in the Battle Creek area, which is where Chapman Christmas took place. So we decided to get a hotel room. And since we got the room, we said, why don't all the cousins come for a swim after the party? So that's what happened, except for the two youngest who had to drive back home to the Grand Rapids area of Michigan. And that's where we'll end up staying for the rest of our Christmas break. But for now, we are still in Battle Creek, and Nora's cousin Fiona ended up staying overnight with us in the hotel room, which was my idea when we got there. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, as long as Fiona's comfortable with it. And the girls got to have a sleepover, which was really cool. So after they went swimming, they took showers and did their skincare or whatever and snuggled, and I have some more photos of that on the right side. The left side photo of them in the elevator with Fiona making a stinky face and Nora just being weird, as per usual, is because it smelled skunky in the elevator. So I wanted to include that. I thought that was really funny. I'm going to fill in a lot of these like white spaces with other stickers and things from my stash. I did find this cheer tag. This tag is also from that same My Mind's Eye chipboard paper. And since a lot of these are tags, but not all of them, I'm going to put baker's twine in some of them, but not all, because I don't want it to be like just baker's twine everywhere. That to me would look like too much. So you'll see when I do my finishing touches. I don't do all of the like finishing touches on camera because it would have been way tedious. It was just me going through like various word phrase stickers and puffy stickers and laying them down and then adding twine to the tops of a few of the tags. So you'll see what that all looks like in the end. Right now I'm just cutting down my cardstock so that it is 7 by 8.25 inches outside the page protector margins, and making sure, learning from my mistake with my last story, to punch holes now so that I know which side is which. This vellum tag is an oldie from another December daily collection. It's a picture of Nora and Fiona asleep the next morning. So freaking cute. And I did go and add a few gold foiled labels from Studio Calico to some of the photos. So on this one, later on, I will write, "The cutest cousins fast asleep the next morning. I love their bond." I am trimming down now this photo of the sign over the bar area inside of this giant indoor farmers market. We love going here, and this was our first time at the newest location. So at this point, we are still in Battle Creek, and we hadn't been to this particular Horrocks store. And if you've been following me for a while, then you'll know that we go every year to a Horrocks. Usually the one we go to is closer to Matt's parents' house, but since they're no longer living in the same residence, we weren't able to go to that one. It just didn't make sense. So we were happy to try this store, and we actually got some really delicious lunch, which is where we're seated by the bar area to eat it, and that's where I took the photo. So that's going to go in this old December daily label. On the pink tag from Heidi Swap with the lines is where I will end up putting the number 27, and I will embellish that with a number from Ellie's Studio. I'm also going to add a green chipboard that says "Embrace the Chaos" underneath it, and a little puffy sticker hollyberry cluster on the top to cover up the hole where you would normally put some sort of ribbon or twine. This is another Heidi Swap tag, a selfie of us at lunch, just sitting in the middle of the food area. The bottom right is a selfie of us on our way to go shopping before we got to Horrocks. So Nora and I, you can't see Fiona in the car because she's behind my head. And then the picture of Nora and Fiona inside Barnes and Noble, picking out some blind boxes. They each got one. Of course, you know, they totally needed it. Not really, but we let them each pick out one. There were a couple other stores we went to. I didn't really write a lot about it, but I mean, I did document it in Project Life and in my daily journal, so it's fine. This particular story for me is more about the photos and the fun tag shapes on the paper. It was kind of like doing a puzzle. Do you know what I mean? Like figuring out how I was going to fit all these different size tags of various shapes and sizes and make it still look, like it all went together. And as far as like I'm just eyeballing the spacing between the tags. There's no measuring that happened. The only measuring that I did was to make sure the photos were approximately the right size to go on top of these different labels and tags. So this one is another old December daily tag. It's Nora and Fiona in the hotel bed before bedtime, and I wrote on a label later on, post swim, post shower snuggles. So cute. And there is a little heart like card that goes inside this miniature vellum envelope from Heidi Swap. And inside I just wrote hotel fun and shopping fun, and I journaled about going to the pool with the cousins and then shopping before going to the cousin Christmas event, where it was just Fiona, myself, Nora, and Matt. And then I ended up punching a hole in the little pink heart card and adding some twine so that it pulled out nice and easy from behind the envelope. Now you'll see that there's white space. So off camera, I'm going to do all of my decorating, and I'm going to use a bunch of puffy stickers and some word phrase stickers from the Advent sticker kit from a year ago, because I like the gold foiling. I'm bringing in pops of that here and there. So I will fill it in with some of those embellishments. Like there's a repeated tag sticker that says December Stories. You'll see that on a few of the photos. And then I had a whole bunch of puffy stickers left over from maybe 4 years ago's kit, and the colors lent themselves well to this layout. So I just sprinkled them in some of the white spacing in between where the tags are. So I guess I am going to add the twine on camera. So I'm just going to let you watch me do that. So I'm adding just a little bit of pink because I felt like there needed to be more pink on the left side of the story by adding these little frame chipboard pieces from Ellie's studio, and I love that little addition. So you can see I just added one pink, one green, and one red piece of baker's twine to the tags on the left, and that's why it's going to work out perfectly for me to punch a hole in the pink heart and add the red twine there. Here I go adding my number 27 from Ellie's studio. It matches that shade, that like deeper shade of red on the Heidi Swap tag perfectly, so I love the way that looks. All right, and I sped down the camera to 2 times just because like I want you to be able to see all of the embellishments and label stickers and puffy stickers that I added while I was off camera. You can see I added some of those gold labels. So I wrote Nora and Fiona waving away a skunky smell on the top. Green tag on the picture of the cousins in the pool. I wrote cousins swim at our hotel after Chapman Christmas. Why not? One of the stickers says love this. One of them says what it's all about. Then you can see I've got some random little puffy stickers in between where there is like enough white space to warrant like a little embellishment. And then I added this label that says being together is what it's all about. That's another old December Daily piece, and I ripped the paper because I tried to straighten it, and so I got to cover it up. So I'm using this scalloped trim piece from this year's collection. And now you can see on the right where I added the embellishments in the white spaces and added some of those word phrase stickers. I think it looks so cute. I am in love with the way this turned out. So here's a look at story 27. So the next part is the final flip through where I'm going to talk about story 25 since it didn't get filmed, and I'm going to slow it down to 90 just so you can see what I did. So the circle paper is a printout from one of the classes, and then I printed out a bunch of photos of the two girls hanging out because we stayed with them Christmas night with that's Nora's cousin Fiona, and then Matt's twin brother Jesse, who's being tackled in that picture. The girls playing Bluey game and reading and playing Roblox, just some random photos from that day. Then I had a bunch of ornaments that I used on the left and used one of the punched out circles from the right paper to do my journaling. I layered some chipboard circles over the top of the pockets that I had hand stitched with some embroidery thread. And then that's where I tucked in the little clusters of circular photos of Nora and Fiona on Christmas. So hopefully that makes sense. I know that was way fast, so please feel free to message me on Instagram or comment below if you have questions. Here's a look back at stories 26 and 27, which I actually did film. Praises for that. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this video. Please like it if you did, subscribe if you're not, and hit the bell so you don't miss my content. And I will be back soon with the last parts of my album. Bye!